Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zah back at you real quick. But anyways, man, I'm jumping on this channel not only to say that I got an interview that I'm going to be conducting real soon with Chief Loud of Proving Our Point. It's my one boy out of North Hollywood, you know, the No Hold, No Hope is his brand. You know what I mean? I would be putting him out there real quick, you know what I mean? But he's really going to break down his lyrics and just really get into the reasons why he chose to do certain things and not pursue certain routes when he grew up in a spot that was surrounded by gangs, you know what I mean? And anybody that knew North Hollywood back in the days knew that there's a few gangs there and they used to be kicking up dust, but he chose not to go that route. But I just really want to break down his lyrics, so it's going to be more of an intimate setting, and that's how I'm going to try to conduct my interviews from now on when I do start doing interviews. But right now, I've been really focused on creating a podcast. I know a lot of podcasts out there, but I really want to sit down and have conversations with individuals that really have something to say and not just anybody, just really cats that are focused on going to certain places. That's what people my age start to focus on. Like when I first started my channel, which this is the whole reason about the videos, to address certain cats that feel that I should go a certain route. The whole reason when I started my channel was basically to tell my story. Didn't know it would blow up, didn't know, because I'm not a unique individual. There's nothing unique about a black Southerner. There's so many of us, and people that are like 3 times my age, and me being 41 years old, for the people that might not understand, I'm 41 years old and have been in the game that long, did all my time, over a decade straight, and came out still with a good name. You'll have some cats, you were only in Ironwood. I can go through High Desert, Calipat, Corcoran, you know what I mean? Cincinnati. I can go through all the spots I've been, but it's really no need to do that, because at the end of the day, like I said, there's nothing really unique about me. The only difference between me and another black homie is the fact that I'm on YouTube. That's it. People they try to tear me down and be like, why, no, not even why, but they're like, no gangsters on the, as far as like YouTube. But if you go back years before, you had dudes speaking on the internet and putting their placazos and telling how they had guns and all this other things, you know what I mean? So it's like the homies have been on, but it's just never been one with a solo platform that's been able to come on here and convey what he wanted to do without putting all this gang shit in it, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm able to do, because obviously, even though people tend to say that my channel is dying out, people still watch, you know what I mean? And people are still looking forward to having conversation with me and seeing that I'm not intangible. I'm actually physically tangible. I'm out there having conversation with individuals. Individuals still call me and ask me for my opinion on certain things, and I try to do the best I can as somebody that has been through it and continue to go through it, because my journey hasn't really ended. There's still lots out there that feel some type of way, and it's not, and see, that's one of the things. Like I had a situation today with a dude in a whole nother state worried about our politics and how we conduct ourselves, and saying that all Cali dudes are stupid because we fall up under certain rules, when that's what happens when you run a tight ship. You go up under certain rules. Structure is everything. If you have no structure, then you run around like a chicken with your head cut off. And this individual, when we're having this conversation, after a while, I tell him, basically along the lines, I think he was a cop, because certain things he starts saying, and then, it just those are the type of individuals that I had to deal with on a daily. Even though I'm no longer out there banging, and you know what I mean, and doing certain things, people still have some sort of animosity. And the funny thing about it is, all the cats that got real animosity ain't even black. Like, that's the thing. Like, I could see my people getting mad, like, oh yeah, you ran with the Mexicans when we had wars, we had to go against each other. But that's just like gangbanging. And that's why I respect that dude Big Herc. I'm gonna just say that right off the bat. Why I respect that dude Big Herc? For the one, he actually interviewed me and gave me a boost to my platform. So in my past video, if I said anything that might have been sounded like I was, you know what I mean, how should I say, ungrateful, I apologize for that. But that dude right there, it's like somebody had said in his comment one time after on one of my, on a video that I had conducted with him, and they said something along the lines like, this dude, this and that, he went against his own people. And then I forgot exactly what Big Herc said, but he was like, you know what is it when you go at it with your own people, when you're blood or you're a Crip and you kill a blood? What are you doing? So basically he was letting them know that, you know what I mean, you have no real reason, you have no real room to talk when what you do is you're frustrated at me because I chose to hold mine down when it's a direct contradiction, because you actually kill your own and do all this. And not to say like any is lesser than the other, but it's just basically people were hot at the fact of who I was. So that's why I respect Big Herb. Shout out to you. But what I was saying with this whole video was to address certain cats that feel like they need to know our politics. You don't need to know our politics. You don't need to know why we do certain things. You don't need, there's nothing that you really need to know about us. You're in another state. Your gangs have different politics, and that's all you need to know. Now, and if you're coming at me in a righteous way and you're really curious about certain things, understand that there's a lot of things I won't be able to tell you, but I can tell you basic things. The same shit I do on YouTube right now, I tell you basic things. Nothing that's going to get me caught up. And that makes you know, a valid point. Not even a valid point, but that's something I also wanted to say. Like when the people were asking me, they made like certain comments like, oh, this Fuzat is not on YouTube no more because he got warned. No. Let me just clarify something for the people that might be a little, that don't really understand how shit goes. For one, if you fuck up and say something that you ain't supposed to say, there is no warnings. I'm not a rich person. There is no warning. So if you say something that exposes something, you're just going to get got. Plain and simple. That's no giving up secrets. That's just plain and simple. You've seen it a million times in a million movies based on certain individuals and certain groups. If you say something that you shouldn't say, you're got. So understand, I'm still breathing and I'm still able to move around, and I still go places where a lot of individuals that you might not know congregate. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I continue to do me because I know exactly what to say and what not to say. Then you got other cats that say something along the line like, oh, that fool Zah don't want to go back to prison. Of course I don't want to go back to prison. Why? Because I did so long in that motherfucker. There's nothing really left to do. Like, there's nothing really left to do. I've put in my work, and I came out with a good name. There's a lot of cats that, you know, that are dead now. You know what I mean? I know fools that are dying in prison. They've been dying in prison. If it wasn't from slamming and getting hepatitis, it was just from old age, and they're dead. You know what I mean? I've had cellies that had life that are dead now, and there's nothing I could really do about that. See, when you leave prison, you never just leave yourself. You always leave with that sentiment of knowing that you're leaving somebody behind. When you've been around individuals that are actually really out there with the bullshit and have really showed you that there's somebody that you can respect, you feel bad when you leave them behind. So when they tell you to get out and do good, and they really give you all the tools mentally in order to do that, you want to do your best. Some cats don't care, you know what I mean, because they're dope fiends and they go back to jail. It's a party for them. But cats that really trying to accomplish something, they're not going to do that. Like me, when cats say, like I said, this is just more of just a talk. But when cats come on here and they're like, oh yeah, ain't no gangsters on YouTube. Nah. But that's the thing. I'm not a gangster no more. I'm still with the shit, but I'm not out there gangbanging. You know what I mean? I'm just with the shit. I respect my homies, and I still ride for my homies, and that's just the way it is. I'm not out there banging on enemigas or doing all that stupid shit, because at the end of the day, what would I look like at 41 still trying to pull the trigger on dudes that's not even tripping on me? When I see enemies on the street all the time, and they see me, and when they recognize who I'm in, they be like, what's up, Zod, and keep pushing. Not to say that it ain't never going to be an issue, because that's, you know, all gangs are like that. It's like you feel you got one, you know what I mean? So I'm not that stupid to know that when I move around, I can't pay attention. You know, I'm gonna pay attention anywhere I go, even if it's in Wagner's or hoods that we have absolutely no beef or never had beef with. I'm gonna move accordingly, because that's respect. When I go out of state, like I said, I've been moving around a lot. When go out of state, it's the same type of respect. I'm gonna give them what they got coming, because that's their spot. I'm not gonna be a bitch and like be hiding, you know what I'm saying, but I'm gonna give them there because that's their spot. You going to their spot, you know what I'm saying? Get the disrespect and you get laid down in a different state. I mean, for what? You didn't have to, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, but that's the whole thing, you know what I mean? That's what I really want to talk about when cats be like, you know, they bring up gangsters, and, you know, a gangster elevates itself. A gangster wasn't even a gangbanger. A gangster was just somebody that was known in his community, did certain things for his community, and was revered for doing certain things, whether it was positive or negative. That was gangster right there. That's how I see it. Now I would be a lame if I didn't try to help my homeboys or help people I know or try to help people in general get to the next level, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to start close, you know what I mean, and it's starting slow, but that's where it starts. I'm 45. I'm 41 years old. I should be in a position to where I'm winning. Nobody wants to be the thug on the street anymore at 41 looking like a vagabundo. I don't slam dope. I don't do none of that. My whole thing is to handle my business so I get to a position to where I don't need nothing, or nobody that I fuck with needs nothing. You know what I'm saying? Understand that I choose not to really talk too much on the camera because people get tired of it. Like there's only so much Zach can say that's appealing, you know what I mean? And usually people flock to the channel when I'm just being disrespectful, and that's usually when you got a 2-5 or a PC want to speak up on me, you know what I mean? Because they feel like somehow I need to keep coming out their mouth. But you see some of them, they drop their channel. And the other ones that said they would surpass my channel, yeah, understand, my channel is a slow trickle. But a lot of the people that's a slow trickle or continues to stay. I'm going to talk about politics as far as like, you know what I mean, the world politics. I'm going to talk about other shit that I want to talk about. It's not going to be just about prison, because to be honest, I'm no longer in prison. So if I need to continue talking about prison, then obviously I want to go back there. And there's no need for me to go back there. But if I did, God forbid, I'm still going to be good. Understand that. Like I said, there's no warnings. That, just so you know, that just for the people that might be in other states and all this, you don't get no warnings. If you mess up and you say something that you shouldn't have, you're gone. That's plain, and that's how we get down. You know what I mean? Oh, and just to clarify something real quick, you know what I mean? Because this is one of the videos, like I said, I'm just talking and then people know I'm back. But you don't have to, certain individuals don't have to be the one to get at you. You got homies. There's so many Sureños that are everywhere. Like if they feel like you know what I mean? Some people, if they feel disrespected or something you say, they gonna come for you. I'm one individual. I can't go against Rivers. You don't gotta anger certain people. There's homies out here that just they watch, you know what I mean? Because you're an extension of them. It's like if I see another gang on the street, he's S. So it's like, even though we're outside of jail, it's like he's an extension. You know what I mean? I'm an extension of my volume. And for the food that be like, oh yeah, you know, that volume small. I said that from the gate, but it's still, you can go up there and get clapped up, you know what I mean? But, you know, I would advise just to worry about your own state. You know what I mean? If you're not coming at me correctly, just worry about your own state and about your own politics. You know what I mean? Don't worry about ours. California is the way it is because it's just the way it is. It's the cuna of gangs. You know what I mean? It's the birthplace of a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Whether it came from, and it's the birthplace of a lot of things. So that's why there is the way it is. So, you know, just understand your politics and don't worry about. And if you're not black and you got some type of issue with me and you're not a homie, understand your shit is irrelevant. And if you're frustrated at something I say, that's just you, dog. Like that makes you a weakend. That doesn't make you a real one. And for the people that ask me, oh yeah, or not even ask me to tell me, oh, you're gonna run into a real one. I know a gang of real ones. I still run into real ones. But you know what real ones do? They mind their own fucking business. If it's not something that directly disrespects them, they do their thing. I walk past Bloods and Crips, homies, and everything every day. Hey, look, what's up? And keep pushing. Like, hey, I respect that. The other thing was kind of like, you know what I mean? But I respect that. And they go on about their business, because who the fuck wants to go to jail over some individual that means absolutely nothing to you? The same with them. Like, it's just like in passing, what's up, and keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my homies, that's different. You know what I mean? But as far as like a righteous individual that's really with the shit, he not caring about Zod. He just sees Zod's an older dude, been through a gang of shit, and he's telling the truth. Is what it is. You know what I'm saying? For the ones that feel butthurt about it, that's just your problem. But on that note, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. Hopefully, you know, you continue to support the channel. If not, you know, it was nice knowing you, but I will continue to grind. And on that note, I'm your boy Zod, and I'm out.